Isa na lang. Isa na lang. Sure win na tong Navi. Pag natalo pa to, nangaasar na lang tong Navi. Baka paisahin pa nila no? Baka lang paisahin nila. Para lang mang-asar lang yun. Line up. Sino lamang? Ano to? Ano jungler nilang? Anong jungler nitong GXP? Ano jungler nila? Wait. Bahak siya. Inagaw. Inagaw yung bahak siya.
But at this stage, you can see what exactly they want to do. Sophia is a little under-leveled here.
Oh, Lema to flicker to... This has been the trend for every single early game. Navi with the Lilia not changing their mid hero for 3 games straight, just constantly spamming all these pokes. And now that it's with a Kaja, it's a lot more annoying in a sense that even the Kaja is just gonna walk up straight to you, apply these slows, and potentially even a bit more damage.
Yeah, what I can't understand here was what happened.
Inagaw yung back siya niya, ha?
When it should have been here in the mid. The mid is struggling right now. Unless Sophia can close the distance and land that stun onto Rain and get a full commitment with Lima in the jungle, that's kind of the only problem. But Winnie here might just get solo killed, no problem as well.
Oh, so close.
Oh, wow. Wow. Ayun lang. Ayun lang. Dash? Wala. Oh, tik ko lang ano. Walang panakas.
And now it actually is slightly in Winnie's favor because they're going to be able to make it to that wave first. However, the gold is still in favor of Rian as now the turtle spawns out. Let's see how it plays.
Link shows up, Throne of Ruin already casted, but the heavy spin 2 pins down there.
Naku po yung Parsa. Sakit ng Parsa. Takbo. Ang hirap naman ito.
Traded by these two teams. Oh, Keishi, or not Ayanami rather, being chased. That's gonna be another kill over to GXP.
Hirap naman yan.
Unfortunately, not finding the
Kaya pa ba?
to actually get the split down. For the time being, though, running on the opposite side, and this is what I was talking about. Now, getting control over that wave. After this solo kill, initially, most people are going to be like, yeah, no, this is going to be great. Rian equalizes the lane. It actually doesn't, assuming that Rian was able to survive right up till the dive. Now you can see the level lead as well as the gold lead becoming more clear as Winnie is trying to just lock out this lane.
I feel like GXP too, after what happened in game number 2, are just like, yeah, we cannot just let Winnie experience the same thing all over again.
No more.
This isn't a chip lineup anyway, but the fact that they are on a very hard lockdown type of composition who could just pretty much combo it with either the carry and the Lilia are still going to be a massive threat for Winnie as the main damage dealer later on. So now they are somehow showing us more and more rotations towards the bottom lane. I think that's also why you got to see that in the first minute of the game.
Yeah, I think Winnie at this point is probably just praying, like, please do not let me get hit by Divine Judgment. Like, anything but that. I don't mind a heavy spin. I got Purified, but now the next fight begins.
Okay, it's gonna be Mirai as the target quickly bursted
Napitas si
down as
Mirai.
expected from Sophia of GXP. Even the EXP lanes being managed really well by Link right now.
They managed to find an interception, which is great. But also, I think Navi, unfortunately, is still having a bit of lingering thoughts from the previous game, thinking that they're really far ahead. Mirai, you're not in that position anymore. You know, you're not having an extra 1,000 gold on top of Lima this time round.
Yeah, and there wasn't, I think, anyone there yet to just really apply the follow-up damage. If ever they do get to find a Divine Judgment, they could probably deal a bit of poke here and there, but this is where it really should have mattered. This is the next turtle of the game, and both teams are going to fight for it.
Mariah can put the handcuffs on somebody. Fortunately, they still need someone else to be the guillotine.
Okay. Nikutan. Kaya ma-burst? Hindi. Kuna. Ayun lang, hindi nag-connect yung skill nila. Nahila, tapos di tinamaan niya kay. Parang kaya.
That counter engage coming in from Ling to save the day right at the very end. However, Rian still 2-1 score, trying to keep back up. And despite what happened in the early stages of the game, manages to get enough of a care package, some economic aid to stay even.
all these ult-reliant heroes from GXP though, they probably will get it back a few moments later, but Navi are just for sure going to be confident enough to get back in this too. It's only the heavy spin that's been taken out alongside the Divine Judgment.
I don't understand why Ling is still trying to pull the wave. They know that they didn't have their ults earlier. They could have started zoning out way earlier. They knew they didn't have ults. They also knew they didn't have the battle spells. And now they're giving up the space over to Navi.
Yep, because Navi are back. Heavy spin is back, and the turtle gets reset all over again. But it's gonna be an attempt from Ling, which doesn't land on
Wala.
one. And look at how not
Tumama.
trying to go for the
Sinakyan.
an annoying way to just break formation.
Sino makakakuha? Wala. Hindi na agawan ni Loaded. Parang matatalo pa sila ng isang game.
Unfortunate indeed. Honestly, Navi played as good as they can to
Ba't
kind
ba
of get
ganun
out
yung
this
mga...
situation, but that first initial whiff coming in from Ling.
Kaya ba yan?
Really
Mahirap.
unfortunate to say the least, but Fa still
Carry lang. Carry lang talaga. Maka-item lang yung carry.
had pretty much all the advantages.
Maka-item lang yung carry, okay na eh.
Now a quick conversion to another objective as well. GXP are just focusing so much of their resources towards the bottom lane, even in that entire sequence where it feels like they barely paid attention to the other parts of the map, just as long as they could win it out in that turtle fight.
Yeah, and now they just want to keep on progressing it, right? Whoa.
Divine Judgment, that's gonna be one. It's a shutdown on Sophia. I think it's a great start if Navi, who slowly wants to get back in this game.
But some of the bad habits are starting to show. The way that GXP is opening up the map is honestly getting them killed more often than not.
Nice.
He still gets brought back. Now it's another kill for Navi. It's both mid duos.
Yeah, Lima tried to use the Minoan Fury as a means to not get displaced because of the anti-CC.
Carry lang, carry lang. Late game.
Punish is good.
Malulusaw yan.
I don't know. If you're already gonna flicker anyway, you might as well just let it happen.
Yeah. And Nara Yanami will just get it back real quick. We're looking at the gold difference right now. Not much in terms of the gold lane, not much in terms of most of the lanes. It's really in the macro that you kind of feel what GXP wants to do differently this time in comparison to Navi.
But at the same time, it feels like both Navi and GXP, they've sharpened each other enough after these past two games. They're really picking up on the bad habits. Look at this!
Oh, once again, we find another isolation.
Oh.
Sophia gets caught here by not Ayanami, but will get to Wings by Wings her out. But under the turret, can Ayanami still find the kill? It seems like it's a no, and then Fa gets dragged back under the turret. An unfortunate sequence for GXP.
Really sad, but well played from Navi. They are not going to take this sitting down. They're going to make sure that they're being tall and proud when they take this game away. It's 6-6 so far, and Navi are in full position to take the Lord as well. Divine Judgment is not up, and Split is still on cooldown.
This is just so interesting to me how Navi are able to deal with either the utility or assassin comp from GXP.
Right? I totally agree with you, because again, we're seeing many different sides of Navi. Usually, we see a lot of, big personalities, but a very linear and clear idea of how they want to play a game. Navi, not only have they shown how tall they are, but they are showing how wide this team composition and the styles of play that they have in their pockets are.
Oh, they're going to go for Rain.
What?
That's the Minoan Fury and the Throne of Ruin, but the heavy spin as a defensive tool to just make sure that GXP are not able to push forward. Rhea joining in the fight too might make a huge difference right now. GXP lose a little more in the process. That's gonna be a 2-for-1 trade right before the Lord.
That was a pretty good idea initially from Navi's side. I think there was a little bit of hesitation from Rian. Let's pull up the item list. I want to just get a double confirmation on whether or not the Trinity has been complete, and that's why she would have to come into her full ult to ensure that at least they get a trade back. But without the DHS, it's going to be a lot harder to get through the Limas and the Faz if you're only hoping that your passive is going to be enough.
They're going to burst it down real quick. They do not want another instance of GXP just potentially trying to fight back, considering what you just mentioned. They still don't have the DHS, but at least for now they get a bit more advantage and the first Lord of the game as well. But it's interesting, at least for GXP, they're able to really push the sides, but Mirai
naku. Ayun, tulak. Nice one. Ganda. Sayang. Ba't pumasok? Lah. Lah. Kaya mo dyan? Sakit nun. Ayan na.
finally got the
Curry.
point, but then Sophia
Curry,
arrives
bumaka
to the
na.
line. Who does she find? It's Sophia,
Kaya?
but she doesn't have
Nice.
divine judgment.
Yung Curry, nag-change
Really?
target.
Are
Uy,
making it work
nag-change
all
target
by
yung Curry.
themselves.
This is what I was talking about. Bad habits. They notice GXP. They keep coming at us front to back.
Then, nag-ano lang yun. Nag-lifesteal lang yun. Nag-change target. Pinagsasabi nyo, ha?
And now Navi are just chasing
Hinatak.
them, so they couldn't go for the deep.
Oh, nice.
They're trying to help out,
Nice,
but it's
3-0.
not gonna be enough.
This is the
3-0.
When you are fighting in the front lines,
Ganda.
you must understand what your supply lines are, the logistics to get there. And right now, Navi have attacked them in so many different areas. GXP, you can tell the tunnel vision, the peripherals is getting darker and darker. They have to wake up. Take a moment, just breathe.
Because we're so used to them being really synced up in terms of especially prioritization, the targets that they go for, and how they're always almost on the same page, but we're not seeing that from GXP.
Oh, hinatak.
It's more so from
Huli.
Navi as they find another kill.
Naku
Sophia
po, parang isa lang kaya nilang i-burst.
Zone of ruin.
Hello?
But the relevant members
Curry,
stay
go.
away. It's
Nice.
Navi traded out, but
Nice.
Fia goes
Nice.
down too. It's a double
Masakit na yung
for Fia,
Curry.
and she's just 7-1-2.
It's so frustrating because the combo is good. It's a perfect Minoan Fury into the throne of ruin that had to commit a flicker from Ling. They just didn't have enough AoE to burst down the members after the combo. Winnie can only hit so many targets at once. And luckily from the front lines of Navi, they have enough armor to tank the explosive crossbows.
It's all their base turrets exposed just with that single Lord Siege, which Navi barely had to work with because they just let it walk through the top lane, and every single lane too just pushed forward just because GXP kept forcing the fight.
Yeah, I mean, majority of the hold on the Divine Judgment is good. Rihanna's already blown them up.
Uy, ayun oh, ang sakit na ng Curry, oh. Wala na. Tapos na to. Uy, yung lalim, ha. Lumalalim ka, Lude. Nice. Nice one. Nice.
And GXP just wanted to repeat the exact same thing. It was probably not the exact same sequence in a sense that Lema actually got to cast the Minoan Fury, but it was follow-up from Ling that eventually, in hopes of them converting it into a successful team fight, but Navi were just a bit too prepared for that. They knew who they wanted to target, and they just kept pushing forward. Now, it's a massive loss as GXP had to let go of the Lord.
Nothing much that they can really do about that. Again, there's a certain level of protocols that need to be put in place, but you can tell that GXP are not 100% sure what that roadmap actually looks like. They've got some really good ideas, but sometimes when do you actually want to find those initiations? Before, they tried to initiate after Sophia was caught, they were thinking about, hey, if they get a little bit closer, we can make something happen, and all of a sudden the Flicker Divine Judgment was the real play. So I think that GXP right now, they're trying to set the priority order. Do we worry about this Divine Judgment? Can we get Sophia in a better position so that Winnie can follow up immediately after?
Hopefully they figured out not to wait. Because we've been questioning the priority order for the longest time in this entire game. Who does GXP really want to go for first? What is the game plan considering that they're mostly revolving around Winnie and Sophia, but Navi, even if they decide to go for their front lines and not these damage dealers, are actually making it work. Now they have an entire Lord with no energy or holy shields left up top. They're on the verge of losing so much more.
Yeah, with the suppression as well, it's just really difficult for Lima especially. Oh!
Oh,
That was a flicker in, but Mirai does get cancelled though. Does have the immortality, is gonna be okay.
And
Flicker
na?
strike as well as Minoan Fury trying to defend as much as
Bakonte,
they can.
masakit.
Defensive
Oh
heavy
my
spin, but Winnie,
Nakadip pa.
finds a double.
Bak na,
Navi
te.
run away, wings by wings,
Ano ba
for
yan?
Hayanami, and they go back right in.
Oh,
Do they really
oh,
want to
nakakill.
not Hayanami?
Ganda.
Actually finds Sophia.
Bak na.
No way!
Bak na.
Winnie ended up killing her own teammate.
Oh, wow.
They could have just stopped autoing, but they were just so desperate to make it work. Literally anything would have been good there. Oh man, not Ayanami. Despite having a horrendous early game, now it's like, this is my revenge. You've hurt me enough.
Yeah, I was worried when she went back in too, but the fact that GXP, I feel like they just panicked and clicked their buttons and unfortunately cost their teammates lives there. It's not a good sign. It's not a good sign. GXP definitely have to somehow reset and get back in this game. They were slowly finding their way around things, but it's Navi all over again, all across the map.
Yeah, Navi has adapted a lot better to what GXP has been laying on the table in terms of their tactical plans and strategies. And I think that Navi, just a little bit more clutch factor within them. But I think it's the awareness, right? The awareness overall about not only the battle situation, but what's happening across the map. It just feels like Navi is just slightly more efficient and more flexible in those moments. GXP, it's got to be step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, and they've been changing the order up, but it still feels a little clunky.
So what could be the best order at this point? You would really expect it's just either Lema or Ling. Does someone have to be left behind to at least some sort of protect for Winnie and Sophia? They do have the flickers and the purifies for themselves, but it just seems that as long as Navi get that one pick off done, then there's nothing stopping them at all.
I think step number 1 is to control this mid. Oh, wait, actually, Divine Judgment.
Oh, is that one
Uli?
pick off? Is that
Kaya?
pick off?
Yun
Ling
lang.
tries to stop them from getting that pick off, but this
Nice!
the heavy spin still gets committed, and GXP find one. They somehow find
Parang
one.
lugi sila.
Navi, do they want to push through?
Mas
They've
mababa
lost
buhay
one of their
nila.
damage sources.
That is so unfortunate. It takes 2 people to engage upon 3 in the back lines of Navi, but it just takes not Aya Nami to keep both Sophia and Winnie away, and still able to find that kill onto Sophia's side. Like, if not Aya Nami, people were like, oh, she's going back to her old ways. No, she is a completely different player.
Yeah, look at how she's playing the glue.
Ridiculous.
Redeeming herself after that early game. I mean, look at her. I mean, she's not really resetting.
Oo.
Another Divine Judgment onto Lema. There goes
Naku
the
po.
burst from Rihanna.
Nadali
as well.
pa.
Do they really want to risk this?
Uy!
Okay,
Uy,
that's
nakasakay.
the one. It's gonna be far. They're pushing her out of this Lord.
Nice one.
That's
Back na.
enough to secure
Pwede na
the
mag-back.
objective, but it's in
Pwede na
exchange
mag-back.
not Ayanami.
And that's totally fine. Look at the timers. Look at the timers. The wave is going to spawn. If they waited a little bit longer, it would have been nice after the 12 minutes. But since then, even so, not Ayanami has gotten everything they've wanted. Lima doesn't have a flicker. Ling still doesn't have the flicker as well. And by the time the Lord actually makes it down into the base, she's still not going to have the flicker.
Yeah, I feel like GXP wanted to go for something there, but they saw Mirai and were like,
Nah,
No.
it's good.
no. And we have a Lord. I'm glad they actually realized that they might have to pull back a bit because they have to deal with a Lord, and Navi are approaching their base.
At this point, I might as well just stare at Mirai the entire time because, again, her flickers with the Divine Judgments have been immaculate.
Okay, they get to clear the Lord. Navi are not really going to make use of it just yet. They also have to wait for not Ayanami, I feel, if they really want to risk a 5-on-5 engage. So GXP are taking advantage of this, and at least after 18 minutes are still in the game.
Would you say? I would say that Navi understands their composition, but they're also giving a lot of respect to GXP.
Yeah.
Like, despite everything that is
No.
in this game, GXP was going even with Navi, despite the score leaning into Navi's side for at least 8 to 9 minutes. Now here in the late game, despite having an advantage with that long lane already wide and exposed, Navi still ain't pressing the matter.
Yeah, the combos you get to see from both the Farsa and Irithel, I feel like we already saw a glimpse of what it could bring to the table when they immediately bursted down Rain. Because Rain typically on the Lilia has been always very aggressive. She's been showing up on the front lines, a lot of help towards Ayanami, but during that moment, I think she also didn't expect to get bursted down as quickly, so they might want to pay attention to that, because that'll definitely change the way they approach their team fights for even just a bit if they don't want GXP to find an opening.
Yeah, let's quickly look at the items here so far. The Malefic Gun is already done, but I'm looking at the tanks specifically because I'm already seeing that they made sure that they have the right items. A decent amount of armor, but just enough magic damage to start burning down the squishies, which is probably why not Ayanami isn't dying as quickly in comparison to Ling having to deal with the true damage of carry.
Oh, but this could be a problem too. Immortality pickup for Winnie already. Just letting go of the boots and understanding that she definitely has to be the one to survive in these fights. I think Sophia's also building a winter crown very, very soon, so they'll have more tools to survive if ever Navi does go for another surprise Divine Judgment play, which puts a lot of responsibility on Mirai. She has to be very particular. I know she has been, but even more so now, when it comes to who she uses the Divine Judgment on.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? So far, Mirai not only needs to use it defensively, but more importantly, have to be very proactive on the map. Because you already have the fleeting time, you might as well just let it rip when you have the chance. But if that window, and you don't have that follow-up, isn't good enough, GXP, again, might even up the score 18-18.
Yeah, the punish is very much possible
They gotta
for
walk up.
GXP with just a single mistake, but Navi are forcing the Lord. There goes
Oh,
the Navi
nice.
and they could not react. Not Ayanami finding one. Does Navi
Tapos
still
na.
find this?
Lord,
No.
wait.
They flicker
Back na.
out. They want
Wag
to
pumalag.
the throne of
No
Flicker just won't do it.
way.
It's gonna
No.
be the red, but Lima finds more. The
Back
knockout
na.
of multiple members.
Back
But
na.
the flicker, the
Nice.
repercussion from Mirai.
Bakit ka nag-i-skill?
She's actually still alive.
Ah!
And the rest of Navi are
Ganda.
both
Nice.
I wanna say turn
Nice.
this around, yeah, now taking
Habol na
one
habol.
attack at a time. Your battle lines are down. I will take the space.
Sophia had to fly away because they're already losing out on so much. Fa and Lema are down the front lines. It's just Ling who could serve as that front right now.
Unbelievable peel coming up from Navi's side. They've created an endgame scenario. Winter Crown is already purchased, but the situation is dire. All waves collapsing at once.
Rian down to half HP, but the jump from not Ayanami. Winnie had to get out of that. Sophia too with a flicker, but the grab! Sophia
Tapos. Nice one.
brutality and the
Nice one.